Yo, it's another Boss Mule Showcase video. This time, it's a Nightwalker. My experience with this class has been pretty positive ever since the new remaster of Sickness Knights, and I've taken advantage of the event supports that they gave out when creating a new Sickness Knight. And no more having to consistently jump attack to deal optimal damage, so it significantly lowers the difficulty of playing this class and giving everyone an easier experience overall. Though there are still a few difficulties I do face sometimes bossing with this class, so I'll go over my experience playing this class as a boss mule. First off, bossing feels very satisfying and plays quite smooth. One of their notable gimmick is that they have a stationary shadow clone skill that allows you to swap places with it up to 3 times, regardless of the distance. Pretty good using it to get out of sticky situations and has a pretty short cooldown of just 1 minute, pretty much allowing you to attack pretty far away but not a lot of damage. But since this is a burst class, it is insanely strong once pulled off successfully. In my experience, there's quite a lot of preparation that is needed for a Nightwalker in order to do optimal damage on burst, and if the boss just happens to disappear while preparing, it would mean like losing half the timer. So it's quite annoying sometimes, and it's just a matter of knowing the boss mechanics, or it could just be RNG. I don't know. As for boss utilities a Nightwalker has, they do have a bind that can last up to 12 seconds if only held longer, a iframe, but this will be used part of your burst, so I wouldn't use it as like a panic button, and a lifesteal. As long as they keep attacking, though, it only comes from the bat. And a shield that can tank hits that deal 100% proportional HP, though you have to be full HP in order to tank it. They do also have a toggle skill, which essentially gives you additional life or prevents lethal, but unfortunately doesn't reduce its cooldown if you were to log out. Would be a lot helpful if it did. And best of all, a dark sight, which pretty much avoids a lot of boss mechanics like falling debris in Lotus and Magnus. Oh, and a backstep that has no cooldown, which is really nice and could automatically activate dark sight after an attack. Also be used to cancel some animations for some skills that would normally lock you in place. Some small tips I found was that Dark Omen could be used as a super stance, meaning it could prevent me from getting knocked back by any push attacks, but only on cast animations, so quite difficult to pull off successfully with the timing of some attacks. And you could also flash jump cancel by looking the opposite direction on the second jump. There are more ways on how this could be utilized, just that I haven't seen myself use this mechanic during boss fights. Just be sure to toggle the flash jump if you want to do this. Also, a great thing is that Nightwalkers could flash jump after a vertical flash jump. Really great mobility. Training with this class, however, was not the greatest experience. When I wasn't as funded as I am right now, I was struggling to kill some mobs and not at a very fast rate. Mobbing felt the same before and after 5th job, and just didn't like the idea of using the second job skill to hit multiple enemies because of it having quite a short range. The stationary shadow clone is quite nice to occupy a platform, but still doesn't feel like it contributes much to map clearing if not leveled up enough, since it won't last long. And then having to rely on the bouncing bats to deal a decent amount of damage on the rest of the mobs around the map. But once I got it funded enough, it was then Nightwalker mobbing felt really good, as it will all come down to relying on their bouncing bats 100% of the time, and using quadruple throw to spawn some more out. Very satisfying to see the bouncing bats just one-shotting each mob and clearing the map just like that. And then there is something called Shadow Bite farm, which is essentially standing in the middle of the map and only using Shadow Bite, then having the bouncing bats from it clear the rest of the remaining mobs around. Honestly, the best and lazy method of grinding as a Nightwalker, and works really well with a cooldown hat. 2 seconds of cooldown works just fine, but anything more than 2 seconds works and feels much more amazing. Though it may require a lot of cubes in order to get 2 lines of cooldown reduction. The issue that I have with this class would probably be just the amount of funding that I needed in order to invest for a Nightwalker. Much more specifically, the amount of node stones needed to level up the 5th job skills. Shadow Spear and Dark Servant gets a longer duration and stronger with more levels, and I felt that Nightwalkers as a boss mule would need this longer duration in order to feel more viable to play, while also needing to invest in boost nodes for bossing and mobbing to around level 40 plus, even with strong enough gear. So if you are a player with not a lot of node stones on hand to invest towards a Nightwalker, I would probably suggest going with a different option for a boss mule. Overall, Nightwalker is pretty much built to be a bossing class with an insane and strong burst that feels very satisfying and plays good. Great bossing utilities and survivability. An okay DPM off burst, but not so great mobbing in the early game before and after 5th job, and may require more funding than a different boss mule. Difficulty will probably be like a medium difficulty in the perspective of a newer player. Thankfully, only really needs 1 set of boost nodes that's not too difficult to get. So yeah, that pretty much concludes my showcase of the Nightwalker boss mule and my opinion on it. If you ever want to try out a throwing star class between a Nightlord or a Nightwalker, I believe Nightwalker will be a great entry level for that and a better option as a boss mule. Luckily, at the time of this video, Nightwalkers will be getting a buff to their overall damage in the upcoming update, which is great news for mains and boss mules. Now with that done, for the next portion of the video, I will be showing my gear that I'm using for my Nightwalker and will be explaining some parts along the way. Alright, now we'll be going on to the gear showcase portion of the video. So first off, we'll be going off with the emblem, Well, probably gonna be going down the list, so yeah. Badge, medal, secondary, cape, heart, earrings, shoulder, gloves. This doesn't really matter that much, but it's got from the event. Yeah, so as you can see, most of the stuff are at 17 stars and at least like 18% luck main stat. So because I think that's a really good stopping point. And event rings. I think these could be swappable if I want to make this character a bit stronger, but right here should be a good enough spot for me to do like low min fast enough. And then we'll go for the other one. This is the cooldown hat that I have. Got really lucky over here. 4 seconds cooldown reduction. Honestly, like I said in the video, you could get like a 2-second one. That should be just fine. But if you want something more than 2 seconds, that might be cost a bit more money. But since I got this like around under 1 bill, I got really lucky on this one. But yeah, but for sure we'll make mobbing a lot better once you're able to one shot the mobs. This is the other secondary that I'm using, and then since this was like a Cygnus support character that I made during when Cygnus remaster came out, I got like another emblem. So I could probably play around with this once I have like enough money, or if I want to. And this was like another ring that I had. Probably change this to like a drop ring or something. But yeah. These are at least like 18% or 15%, so good enough for now. Alright, so, and then we'll go on to my nodes. I can see all the boost nodes should be like around 40 plus. And these are the really only 3 you need. Boosting nodes for a Nightwalker. And then for the skills, yeah, these are like around 20 plus should be good enough. Since that's probably like where it should be just like the sweet spot for it to be, I don't know, like be using it as for DPM and stuff. To like the damage. These cost quite a lot to like level up. Look like this, yeah. And then let's see. Oh, hyper stats. I'm not sure if that really matter that much, but this is the standard one that I usually use gold for. Just want to get at least like 100% crit rate because that's what you really need. And then yeah, invulnerability. Got really lucky on 20% crit rate. And the last line would have been like a damage against abnormal mobs or abnormal status mobs. That's what you want for dirt line, ideally. And then if I were to like, yeah, we use all my buffs right now. I didn't even change that much, right? There you go. Yeah, that should be everything. Wait, no. Oh wait, forgot. Almost forgot. This is Legion. This is the usual one I usually run with all my boss meals. Once I am bossing, but this is what I usually for mobbing. And let's see, one more. And the links that I use. Yep, this is all the links that I use. Yeah. That should be all the ones that I have for now. Yeah. Oh, and if you want matter for this one, these are all the hyper passive that I use. Yeah, that should be good enough. Okay, and that concludes the entire Boss Mule Showcase video. Thanks for watching, and I should be coming up with a bit more because the next one should be coming up. This video should be the Luminous that I would currently still working on at the moment of this video. It's almost done, but yeah, I forgot to show you this. Yeah, this is how much Arcane Force I have. Yep, 700. So yeah, thanks for watching.